we're going to do next is we're going to add a grid, 6 grid section grid straight underneath our image. Now we're going to need some more room, so I'm going to go back. We're going to go back into your layers, go to layer 2, unlock the layer so that you can now select the rectangle and grab it, click, hold and drag it down so it gives yourself a bit of space. Alright, that should be plenty, and lock it again so it's no longer selectable. Hide the layers palette. Now this is why we build our this is why we set up 3 columns in Muse, so that this part would be easier if you wanted to work with a grid-like structure, which a lot of websites use. So let's get our rectangle tool and make sure you are back on layer 1, because it won't let us work on layer 2 because it's locked. And let's draw, we want to draw a line, and let's make this line, that you'll notice the numbers near your cursor tell you how big the line is. Let's make ours line about 600 pixels long, and we want it just to be a line, so the width has to be 1 pixel. 600, there we go. And again, for the fill, we don't want any, make sure there's no stroke. Let's give it a fill of, say, this color over here, and let's get our move tool and grab the rectangle and position it right at the bottom so that it snaps to the image that we put in, and it will snap, you'll notice, between the gutter of your 2 columns. Okay, alright, now so that's one done. Now we want to clone that or duplicate it and put it straight across on the other section. So to clone it, just hold Option, hover over your rectangle, click and hold and drag across. Now it's important that you don't let go of the mouse here, otherwise you'll lose your clone. So once it's in the position that you want it, you can then let go of your mouse and let go of Option. And let's just quickly preview that. And you can see we've got our 2 lines there for our 3 columns, and what we want to do now, we want to put a line across to section, and another line down the bottom to section it off. So let's get our rectangle tool again, and you won't worry, actually what I might do is, just to make it a little bit easier for us, we'll grab a guide, click, hold and drag a guide down and just snap it to the bottom of your image, and so that we can use that to help us position our next line that we're going to draw. Let's draw a line out here and draw it right to the end. It's going to be a bit easier to draw this because it'll snap. It's going to be 960 pixels long, 1 pixel in height. Again, let's fill it with that same color there. And now, because these 2 vertical lines were 600 pixels, we want this line to be positioned halfway through. Now, it might snap for us. It may not. I think it does a little bit of snap in there. You'll notice if you drag it slow enough, and if you do select that rectangle, you'll notice that line. You'll notice that there is a marker there that shows the middle of the rectangle, and our horizontal rectangle is directly over it, so it's in the correct spot. We didn't need to use our guide, but we could have used our guide to say, if we click on that guide there, you see we're at 690 vertical pixels. I could have drawn out another line, another 300 pixels, because that would make half the length of that vertical line there, and put it there and brought that line to there, but we didn't have to. But that was another way you could do it. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is to select the rectangle. Let's hold Option, click with your left mouse and drag it down and put it down the bottom and make sure it's in the middle and it snaps to both ends. And Command Shift E to preview that so we can see it a little bit better. And there you can see we've got our 6 section grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where we could add whatever we want to. But what I'm going to add in there is just a couple of simple shapes and some text, a couple of text boxes, and I'll keep them consistent and the same all the way across. So let's go and grab our ellipse tool, and let's get another guide. We'll drag a guide down and let's go 20 pixels again. So this one's 694, let's go to 714. And let's hold Shift down with the ellipse tool selected, so draw a perfect circle. I might make it about that big, and let's give it a stroke of whatever color you like. I'm just going to select black, might make 2 pixels, and let's position it so that it snaps to that guide, the top guide we drew, and you'll notice the red vertical line that shows us that it's directly in the center. Now what I'll do is I'll design this section, and then we'll just copy, or we'll just clone them and put them in each of the corresponding sections. Okay, let's get our text box, and I'm going to draw a bit of a text box here for a heading, and I'm just going to type in Muse in all capitals, grab the Move tool, and then let's make it bold. Let's make the size a bit bigger. We might center it, and might just make the box a little bit smaller. Actually, leave it like that, and just stretch the text out a little bit. Tidy the box up a little bit, and then let's position it so that it snaps straight to the middle, and you'll notice that there's 20 pixels has come up to show that it's 20 pixels either side of the next element, which is perfect. Right, text tool again, and let's draw our bigger text box, and I might just go back to the lorem ipsum generator, grab some text, placeholder text, paste it in there. That's way too much. Delete some of it, and let's just kind of snap that, and you'll notice that it gives us even spacing between there and there. That looks looking pretty good. Now, what I'll do is we want to select the text box, then hold Shift and select the next text box, hold Shift and select the shape, and let's hold Option now to clone them and bring that straight across, and you'll notice your snapping guides start to come into play here to show you when it's directly in the center. So that looks pretty good there. Let's put that away. Let's do that again. Just pay attention to what your snapping guides are doing. That looks pretty good. At 60 pixels, 60 pixels. There we go. We've got the red vertical line in the middle, and it's snapped to the top. Okay, that's looking probably a bit. I probably need to bring that down just slightly. Maybe just if I use the down arrow key, just one. All right, you can play around with it and get it as exact as you want. Now let's drag another guide out. 20 pixels from here, that's 994. Let's go to 1014, and let's clone this guy and bring him down so that he snaps to the top there. And let's do the same with this one. I'll just drag out a marquee because it's quicker around it. Hold Option, clone that one down there, and we'll do the same for this one. So there we go. Let's have a look at that in the browser. Alright, so we've got our heading, we've got some paragraph text, an image, and we've got a graphic, shape, we've got some text with the heading and some more text. And we've also got our lines for our grid, 6-section grid that we created. One more thing before I finish this is I might just go back to the layers, unlock this layer 2, select it, and then select the rectangle, the white rectangle, and just add a little drop shadow just so it separates the element from the background slightly. So go to shadow, you'll notice a drop shadow was created there. I might lessen the distance to about 4 just to make it a little bit more subtle. Drop the opacity slightly just so it's not as strong. Like I said, it's a bit more subtle, and that will just kind of, let's relock the background layer, and now let's preview that website, and there you can see the drop shadow there creates a little bit of separation between the background and and what's in front of it, which makes it a little bit more three-dimensional to the web page. So there you have it. There's your basic web page layout. Yeah, so play around with it and see what you can do. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.